Howdy y'all ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the AH-56, a Cheyenne. Now, when I saw this thing in the trailer, I'm going to be honest with you, I shit myself 56 times. And it got me so excited that I unironically, as soon as the dev server launched, I opened it, downloaded it, my internet cried for 6 hours, and here we are. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. When I saw this goddamn thing, I absolutely fell in love with it, and the way it flies is just absolutely incredible. Also, on the side note, I absolutely love the fact that Australia, one of the most major nations in the entire game, is next to German Empire, Russia, and then Kuwait. Yeah, as you can see, you can change to Iran. Really? You can change them to different nations and whatnot. This is, in my opinion, and one of my friends' opinion, cough cough me nut, this is one of the best changes that this dev server actually had, and honestly it's quite fun. On the other note, Gaijin, you can go fuck yourself for adding the Blue Arrow 11, so right after I made my video. What the hell is this thing even? So it has IRIOG, 16 kilometers of range. Anyways, negative things aside, what is the AH-56 Cheyenne? What is the main purpose of this thing anyway? Right, I'm gonna insultingly simplify the history for you really quick. So the UH-1Bs were getting quite casualties in the Vietnam War, and these guys basically had no way to defend themselves. So the US Army was like, hey, you know what, how about we mount a bunch of miniguns, machine guns, and all these kinds of stuff into the Huey so they could defend themselves? Yeah, the casualties were still high, so that thing didn't fix anything. So they were like, how about we make a dedicated gunship so we could actually defend these Hueys before they even drop? And that's how Advanced Aerial Fire Support System, or AAFSS, came to the picture. And this was going to be the final product of the entire development sector. Unfortunately, there were several problems with a helicopter. For one, it was incredibly expensive. For two, this motherfucker took 10 years to develop. So much so, in the meantime that this thing was already developing, US Army was like, you know what? In the meantime, how about we just simply go ahead and make a temporary solution so it could actually defend the UH-1Bs. And that's how the AH-1G was born. And that's how the AH-1Q was born. And what the f was that noise? Oh, it's the F-15s. Every time you select them, they just make the... Yeah, they make F-15 noises. And so the AH-1Q with the tow missiles came up and whatnot. It took way too long, and yeah, the Air Force was also became an absolute bitch in the Congress. And unfortunately, this entire project had to be shafted. In its replacement, the YH-64 and YH-63 came up, which became the Advanced Attack Helicopter program, which was it? Was it an Advanced Attack Helicopter? It was something like that. It was AAH, basically. And this beautiful right now is in Warthunder. Honestly, it's not really that pretty. It looks like it's like an AH-1G, but actually developed in Chernobyl. What the f? So anyways, how is this thing? I'm gonna be real with you. I absolutely adore this thing. First off, let's have a look at the weapons. What are the selections? Tow missiles and hydro rockets. Yeah, the selection of the armaments are not really that diverse, considering the fact that it actually could carry out other munitions such as bombs, bullpups, apparently. All those things aside, this entire secondary armament is absolutely amazing, not to mention that not only you get a 30mm XM140 cannon over here, which is basically the same as the UH-1C XM30, these guys, but also you also get the 40mm grenade launcher, which is also replaceable by the 7.62 miniguns, or minigun to be exact. You have CCIP on all of its... Why are you standing like this? Oh yeah, I almost forgot about one thing. You see that engine? Yeah, apparently this engine is from the same family as the V280 Valor demonstration model. I don't know what you're gonna do with that fact, but just let it sink in for a while. Anyways, let's have a look at this beauty. I mean, does it have armor? Yeah, it does. Composite cover. Look, nobody fucking cares. Armors are ineffective in helis anyway. I'm still salty about the Comanche's armor. So as you can see over here, the rotor RPM right now is at 72%. Now this is quite low for your average helicopter. You really can't do any kind of maneuvers, right? Watch this thing. You can do this thing on your average helicopter. It has way too much power for itself, right? You can go back a little bit, but you can also do a seesaw maneuver like this. You can stand on your nose. I know the central mass of the helicopter is here, But I'm gonna be real with you, this helicopter has a lot of power. Like, a lot of power. Like, I can use the tail rotor right now without any kind of problem. Anyways, how does this thing fly? Well, let me show you. This thing flies like an angel. 100% collective pitch, slowly increase it, and lift off. Retract the landing gears. Now, before we go fast, let me just explain something to you. The pitch control is incredible. The yaw control is solid, even when you're going 300 to 400 kilometers per hour, which is insane. Not only that, and the roll rate is very nice, except for one simplified thing. If you go into the arcade settings and arcade difficulty, your roll rate becomes worse than the B-29, worse than the Mi-4AV. Basically, your roll rate is pretty damn non-existent. It's the dev server, anything is subject to change, but what you need to understand is that this thing, in air RP controls at least, models, it just flies absolutely, it flies like an angel. That's how I'm gonna say it, right? Now look at the speed over here, right? I'm gonna increase it a little bit. I'm gonna gradually increase my speed, right? It's gonna slowly twitch, get prepared, prepare the push propeller so it could go fast. Once I hit 100 to 130 kilometers, I'm gonna gain some speed, right? You see that? You see that? Now we're gonna gain some speed. The push propeller has been activated. Now the push propeller is supposed to push the helicopter forward so the speed could be a lot faster, right? I'm at 55% collective pitch and I'm going 350 plus kilometers per hour. I can stabilize the helicopter, right? So I could put the climb rate to like 0 meters a second, meaning that I'm not gonna lose or gain altitude. And I'm currently at 400 kilometers per hour. I can make it even go lower. I can make this thing go at 7% collective pitch, stabilize this thing. Now, how does this mechanic work, right? How does this thing work? So the push propeller pushes you forward, right? The wings generate plenty of lift. However, once you use the collective pitch for 8%, right? If I put it to 100%, as you can see, I'm gonna lose speed. If I make it into like, if I stabilize it, I'm still not gonna gain that much speed compared to like, 58% collective pitch and whatnot. So when I put it to 100%, special thanks to Mino for telling me this, but the transmission over here, oh God, my fingers, the transmission over here uses plenty of power for the rotor blades and the tail rotor itself. Meaning that there's not a lot of, like, there is still plenty of power for the push rotor, but there is not a lot, there's like, some of its power will be taken from it, right? And so for that reason, if you put it at like 23% collective pitch or 30% collective pitch, you need, so this is your primary wings, right? This is your primary wing. This will be your secondary wing, and this thing is incredibly effective, right? And if you go to arcade battles and strike your main rotors, you can still pull up and down. That's the arcade aspects of it, that you can pull up or down, but if you actually strike your tail in the realistic controls, you cannot really control your helicopter anymore, except for maybe, rudder control and whatnot. But this thing becomes your secondary wing. The secondary wing, if you put the collective pitch to 100%, it's gonna lift itself up. Once you lift yourself up, the way of you pushing forward is gonna end up something like this instead of just directly forward. So you're gonna have some drag, kinda. So for that reason, I would suggest you to pick up at least like 40% to like 50% collective pitch so you could maximize your forward speed, right? Now, speaking of lifts in this helicopter, watch my speed and watch me turn. Now, first of all, let me just show you how incredible and effective the tail rotor is. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. What the f is this? Jesus Christ. My God. And look how fast I'm gonna recover this thing. 6, 7, like AH-64 wishes it had this much of a max speed. And you know what's so funny, right? I can turn like this, right? I can turn like this and still maintain plenty of speed. I'm turning at 200 kilometers per hour. This is insanity. Now, obviously, what the hell is happening to the gun over there? Was clipping through the backwards compartment. Okay, never mind. It's dev server. Things are. If something's broken, you can always have the excuse of being dev server. Who cares? Oh, fun fact. This is one of the first helicopters, or maybe one of the first and only helicopters, where if you rotate your gunner, like if you point your gun at somewhere, or your optics, your pilot, or sorry, your gunner actually follows that same direction as well, which is absolutely cool, and I absolutely love this thing. And now I gotta get you gotta get really used to use the 50% collective pitch so you could cruise around really easier. But oh yeah, one other thing that I was going to show you. Extra lift basically means that if you pull up as well, you're gonna gain so much speed, so much altitude when you pull up, that is just utter ridiculous. At the same time, if you nosedive towards the ocean, right, I'm gonna crash right now, right? I'm just gonna pull up and I'm still fine. This thing is somewhere between a helicopter and a plane. It's absolutely lovely. I love this plane. Oh, and mind you, this is not the best part, right? The best part, now I know it's a bug, and I know this thing really made me question physics. For one, point your aircraft upwards, right? Set the collective pitch to 100%. Hold on, let me just stabilize this thing real quick. Okay, point yourself up like this, right? Once you did that, you realize one simplified thing. Why the hell am I not losing any kind of altitude? Why am I going 116 kilometers per hour? What the fuck is happening? Like, if I were to tell you, I was very much shocked, and I was laughing my ass off all the goddamn time by just looking at this. I'm like 90 degrees upwards. You need, like, one of the guys, slow mode _3, _ 003, I think. He did some calculations on how much power you need, how much the rotor diameter has to be to basically generate this much lift, so you could lift this helicopter. Turns out you need to have like the diameter of 9 fucking meters for a push rotor to have this much power to lift this helicopter upwards, which is utter ridiculous, right? And this, honestly, is just outright insane. I love this thing, and I will not regret playing this thing before it gets nerfed with regards to its flight performance or gets up BR'd. In my opinion, if you have the opportunity to run the dev server, absolutely do it, because this thing is just simply and incredibly fun. Now, this was the fun part that I explained to you. Now, let me show you some funny things that I discovered a little bit. First of all, let's just select the rockets and whatnot. By the way, I appreciate Gaijin for not screwing us up by just forcing us to carry the one rocket pod instead of the 3, where they like, oh, it's because of the balance, you cannot carry the 3 rocket pods next to the ITOs and whatnot. I appreciate Gaijin for not doing that and not being a bitch about it. So that should be fine. I'm gonna switch the difficulty to arcade, and let's roll the goddamn battle. And let me show you, if you thought this thing is ridiculous in realistic controls, wait until you see this fucking thing fly in arcade. First of all, collective pitch 100%, engine RPM goes up. Let's go. It goes up really fast. Let's gain some speed. Above 100 kilometers, push rotor gets activated. Look at this thing go. Look at this thing go. Now let's just gain some speed a little bit. As I said, right, I'm gonna go to realistic controls. Look at the roll rate of this thing. I'm literally bashing the shit out of my A key, and this is the best I can get. I've seen fucking bombers like B-29 have better roll rates than this shit. But on the other hand, look at the rotor authority. I can just simply pull it up like this, and you're pretty much done. For a second, the roll rate actually became decent. Oh yeah, roll rate will become shit once the push propeller gets activated. Now, one thing I did notice, the rocketing distance over here is a little bit too much, so you gotta get used to on how to aim this thing. Oh my f***ing god, it can't roll. Give me some time. Hold on. Holy shit, this thing can't roll. So this thing takes some time to actually roll around, and you gotta learn how to get used to aiming on this thing. Specifically with your rocketing distance, that's in the center, right? Oh, wait, hold on, let me just change my mouse preset real quick. You see this? Ow, ow. Oh my god, I forgot to talk to you about this. Look at the FOV on this thing. Like, I can destabilize this optic, right? And just, without any kind of problems, pilot this thing from the thermal imagery. But by the way, why the f does this thing have thermals? This is broken. I love this thing. Actually, you know, I'm not gonna question why it has thermals or not. I love this thing anyway. But yeah, the optics FOV is stock FOV is very incredible. Zoom is also very nice. Like, you can easily control this shit without any kind of problems. Yes, it's a little bit pixelated. Don't be too ungrateful. Really gives a shit, honestly. But this is just simply incredible. Like, it flies like a champ. Look at this shit. 860 meters per second climb rate. But then oh god, I can't roll this thing. Hold on. I saved that shit. Let me show you one thing, right? Remember how I told you, like, this thing controls like a very, it really controls very arcadey in arcade battles? Well, no shit, of course. But it doesn't do it in realistic. I'm gonna rotor strike myself on this tree and watch how I can pull myself up very easily. I can still fly this thing, by the way. Look, the only thing that's left, you fly for like 15 seconds before transmission fails on you, and there's no way you can actually control yourself. So you just crash like a fucking moron. But honestly, outside of that, the cannon itself also feels incredible. For auto cannons, for range, you got the 30 mil, which is incredible. For low range punchiness, you have the 40 mil, which is once again also incredible. Outside of that, ladies and okay, hold on. Before we leave, let me just try out and see if we can do the same thing backwards. All right, let's try it out. All right, dropped all our weapons. Oh my god! Oh my god! Jesus Christ! Okay. Holy crap! This thing actually rivals. This thing actually rivals the Black Hawk with regards to, like, climbing like this. Look how much it climbs. This thing is gonna be broken in arcade. Look, 20 meters a second, 150 kilometers backwards, and I'm gaining more. I'm gaining more. I'm going even faster. At this point, you just question, what are the physics anymore? We're starting to lose some. We're starting to lose some. We're starting to lose plenty of climb rate here. But it's still going. It's still going. Oh, wait. The web mode is activated. So if you push in the web mode, you can go even faster, which is utter ridiculous. Look at the gun clipping through it. Oh my god, this thing is insane. Finally, the Black Hawk has a competitor. All right, let's see how fast I can go on like 2,600 meters of altitude. Let's see. Okay, we're gaining speed really fast. It's slowly but surely twitching. I don't like that. All right, let me just stabilize real quick. All right, now we should be able to go faster now. We're going 440 kilometers per hour. G-Lynx wishes it was this fast. Like, my God. Holy shit. Let's see how it works in a dive, right? 50% collective pitch, 500, 550, 583. Oh my God. What the hell are you? 180 meters a second. I just saw that. Oh my. Did I just saw the G overload indicator? Wow. This thing, I'm maintaining 270 kilometers per hour right now, speed. What is physics anymore? Look, what is physics anymore? What is my fucking grammar anymore? I'm losing everything just by looking at this thing. Of course, I know it's a dev server thing, but flying something like this just brings me joy, and I would love to share this joy with you guys. So I'm not gonna upload like slop content that much with like not that much of an edit and whatnot, so I'm just gonna bring myself the Khalib Kamov Abdul Aziz PNG on like the bottom left corner and whatnot. But playing this thing really felt really incredible. Like, and also special thanks to Mina for helping me out discover this helicopter a lot more than what it was supposed to be. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. If you want to join my YouTube membership, you can absolutely do that. If you want to donate a super thanks, you absolutely can. Outside of that, this is me, Bob Dickinson. I'm just gonna go back into my editing session. This laptop has been a little bit more chill than usual. It doesn't make that much sound. Hold on, let me. Yeah, that's my Air Force One, hell yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you for the support on the previous videos. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good time. Bye-bye.